Alright, I hope everyone's been having a pretty good day so far. Today we're going to be talking about Jiyan, his kits, and who he works well with. Before we get started, make sure to like, subscribe, and possibly join the Discord to win a free battle pass on the day of release. I'm going to be giving away the battle passes on Twitch. If you also have plans to become a Discord mod or a Twitch mod, we now have applications. We also have other events that are going to be coming out shortly. Thank you for voting in the Chibi post as well. So the second round of votes, we ended up picking the Wuthering Waves character plus myself combined is now going to be on Discord, so go check it out. Now with that out of the way, let's get started. Jiyan is a 5-star rarity character in the version 1.0 limited banner and uses the broad blade type weapon. So up on the screen are some of his basic attacks that he starts at level 90. His HP is roughly 10,500, his attack is at 490, with defense at 1186, his max energy at 125, with crit rate at 13%, and crit damage at 150%. Like I said before, the crit damage does not necessarily mean that he gets an extra 150% because the 100% is the default value, the 50% is just the extra that he gets. Healing bonus is also at 0%, while air damage is also at 0%. So he has a couple of basic attacks and heavy attacks. So he can do 5 consecutive basic attacks to cause arrow damage. He can also do 2 different types of heavy attack. So the first heavy attack that he can do is the Windborne Strike. If you continue to hold a basic attack, which performs the heavy attack in the first place, then you'll do a heavy strike, which also causes arrow damage. If you do a heavy attack and you let go of it, you'll do a heavy attack, but it's going to be a shorter animation and it also causes arrow damage as well. There's another mid-air attack which you essentially consume a little bit of stamina, but also throws a spear in the air and stabs them to the ground, which causes arrow damage. There's also the mid-air attack Skyfall, which if you either do the mid-air strike or the resonant skill called Wind Sweep, then you can perform an aerial attack which causes arrow damage. And finally, after a successful dodge, you can use a basic attack which essentially causes arrow damage once again. So his resonant skill is simply dashing forward to a certain distance, and once you get to that area, if you hit the character in that process, it will cause arrow damage, and it can also be cast in air. So finally, he has his Resonance Liberation, which you can think of as an ultimate, and he goes into this Qingloong state, which any basic attack or heavy attacks will cast the Lance of Qingloong, which you can perform up to 3 continuous attacks, which causes arrow damage. Now I'll bring this up on why some characters work well with him with this specific ult and why some characters do not. Alright, moving on to the Forte Circuit, which is called the Qingloong at War, there are certain requirements that need to be met. So the first thing is you need to obtain Resolve. So what is Resolve? It's essentially a point system where you stack it up and will be consumed when you use an ability. So how do you get this? Well, you can do basic attacks, but you have to be careful because if you stop attacking for 10 seconds, the resolve will gradually decrease. However, let's say that you did a lot of basic attacks and you build up 30 points of resolve. Well, once you have 30 points of resolve, if you use your ultimate, you can essentially consume the resolve points and will do another final damage. So remember how we talked about his ultimate where he does 3 consecutive arrow damage? Well, there will be another 4th damage that will occur, which is also considered heavy attack. Also, when he's in his ultimate, which is the Qingloong mode, he also increases his Wind Queller damage by 20%. Moving on to his inherent skills, Jiyan has the Heavenly Balance and the Wind Gathering. With the Wind Gathering, if you hit a target, you continuously can hit them, which increases the crit rate by 1% and can stack up to 10 layers, which is basically 10% crit rate and lasts for 8 seconds after you stop hitting the opponent. His second inherent skill is the Heavenly Balance, which essentially, when you go onto the field, the heavy atomic damage bonus from Jiyan increases by 8% and lasts for 14 seconds. Moving on to the intro skill, as soon as Jiyan comes onto the field, he stabs the enemy from the air, which causes arrow damage. And his outro skill, Self-Discipline, essentially states that when the other character's heavy attack hits an opponent, Jiyan will summon Qingloong to attack together, which causes 313.4% of arrow damage, which lasts 8 seconds and can be triggered up to 2 times. Alright, moving on to his best echoes. His main echo should probably be the Blind Beringal, which increases the arrow damage by 10% up to 40% for 15 seconds when the intro skill is used. For his secondary echoes, you can either use the Sabyr Boar, the young Roseshroom, the Hooscamp, or the Traffic Illuminator. So a couple of questions that is common is, who does he work well with? I would say that Alto works pretty well with him because of the arrow damage bonus increase. And who does he not work well with? Pretty much a decent chunk of characters because they don't necessarily provide a bonus to Jiyan. However, they can be used. And unfortunately, another character that does not work too well with is Jiyan, which surprisingly her resonance does not work well because of the fact that she increases the resonance liberation. So she increases another person's ultimate by 20%, but technically that ultimate from Jiyan is not a ultimate per se, but more so a heavy attack, which does not work together. And the final question that I have is, who should pull for him? Anyone that actually wants him, go for it. You know, I always advocate for the fact that the meta always comes second, third, or honestly never. If you really like the character that you see, then just go for it. However, if you're going for the meta pick, you'll probably want Jiyan as the main DPS, with Alto as the sub DPS, and Reina as the supporting, because she boosts the general attack of a character by roughly 40%, I believe. Alright, I think that's everything for me. Thank you very much for watching the video. Oh, almost forgot. The Discord poll is almost going to be finished, so make sure to check out the Discord to vote on the chibi. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys later.